Shabbat Shalom, welcome to Eretz Cultural Center. This is it. This is the Shabbat of healing. This is Parashat Pinchas. I know that every year when we come to this Shabbat, we make the big deal out of it. And I remember Rabbi Berg, my master, would have a field day when it came to this Shabbat. And we talk about the Parashat of Pinchas over and over again every year in the classes, in the Zohar classes, the importance of this Shabbat and the power of the healing that this Shabbat brings to the world. We know that every Shabbat has its own unique energy. Every reading of the Torah has its own unique energy, an energy that becomes manifested into the world by reading from the Sefer Torah, that special parasha. In all the synagogues in the world, the reading of Parashat Pinchas will create a certain energy that it's amazing, and we're going to talk about it as much as we can in a short time that we have. You know, we say that this parasha, this Shabbat, is about healing. But it really doesn't seem that way. It's a story of Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aharon Kohen Gadol, the grandson of Aharon, brother of Moshe Rabbeinu. And the story is wild, the story is crazy, the story is quite remarkable and quite unusual of what Pinchas does and what Zimri does with Cosby. We read in the Maftir of last week that Pinchas ben Elazar kills two people together, Zimri and Cosby. And because of that, in the beginning of this parasha, God says that because of what Pinchas did, I am taking my anger away from the Bnei Israel. And there are so many secrets, so many codes in this parasha. As we're going to read throughout the whole reading, we're going to mention it. But why such an amazing, unusual story of Pinchas? What did Pinchas do which was so amazing? Who is Pinchas? Who is Zimri? What difference does it make for me now, today, 2016, in the world full of chaos and uncertainty, that some fellow almost 4,000 years ago, Pinchas, killed two people, and they named the parasha after him. And it seems that a lot of people in the name of God kill people. Not only they kill people, they kill themselves for the sake of God. And then when we study Zohar, especially in Parashat Behalotcha, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai indicates very strongly that Torah is not about stories. Has nothing to do with stories. The stories of the Torah, they're only the levush, they're only the clothing that covers what is beneath the story. He says only a fool, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says, only a fool would fall into the stories of the Torah. And he declares that if it was because of the stories, at his time there were other writers who could write better stories than the stories we read in the Torah. And if you study the introduction of the Zohar by Rabbi Ashlag in 1920s, Rabbi Ashlag, when he translated the Zohar from Aramaic, the original language, to Hebrew, he added an introduction to the reason behind the creation of the world. Why God created the world, the way we see it, we experience it. And he says, God created the world with a combination of guf and neshama, the body and the soul. And the body was supposed to fall into darkness, and the neshama is there to revive the body, to awaken the body, to bring back the body to the light force of God. This is the whole purpose of the creation. And this is the whole purpose of this parasha. So why is such a wild and unusual story about Pinchas and Zimri? What are they teaching us? And Rabbi Ashlag explains, just like Mr. Darugar talked about the name Pinchas, Pinchas is not just a name. It's not just a name. It's a form of the consciousness. It's a form of an energy. It's a power of our soul. It's the power of our soul who has the power of immortality. Power of immortality. And what is Zimri? Who is Zimri? Who is this guy that got killed? And Rabbi Ashlag explains that within our body there is a part which is pure dark, pure self-centered. It's full of ego, full of a desire for the self alone only, when I want everything for myself and I don't want to give anything back to the world. When it's all about me, when it's all about my ego, my selfishness, my darkness, my sadness, my worrisome, my doubt, my uncertainty, the dark side of my consciousness is Zimri. Is Zimri. So when Pinchas, which is my soul, which is a light force that I received it from the light force of God itself, overcomes, destroys, take that Zimri out of my consciousness, take that darkness out of my consciousness, we'll get to the realm that is called immortality. Pinchas becomes Eliyahu and Navi. He becomes immortal. He lives forever. This Shabbat is about getting rid of our Zimri, of that dark part that is within us. And it's very, very difficult to remove this dark part. Rabbi Naftali, one of the Kabbalists, explains that there are 320 sparks of light that clothe our consciousness, clothe our soul, that we need to awaken these sparks of light. 320 sparks of light. And when we become sharing people, when we become good people, when we do mitzvah, when we do good things, we awaken, we bring about 288 of these sparks of light. We can only awaken, cleanse 288 of these 320 sparks of light that we are supposed to awaken. He explains there are 32 sparks of light that it's impossible for us alone to awaken. No matter how good you do, no matter how righteous you become, no matter how much mitzvah you do, no matter how much kedusha you become, there are still 32 sparks of light that they are so dense that you need some form of light from the upper world to cleanse those 32 klipot, to awaken these 32 lights, sparks of light that we need to awaken. This Shabbat, the energy of Pinchas, the secret behind the story of Pinchas is an energy form, is a force that cleanse that 32 remaining klipa and makes the shalom perfect, makes us perfect, makes our being perfect. I always like to share something new with you. Every time that I study for Shabbat, for the classes, we know that the Torah has so much, with all the secrets that we've been revealed throughout the classes, throughout the Zohar classes, throughout the Kabbalah classes and Shabbat. I always strive to find something new to learn and to share it with you. In the very first sentence of the first paragraph of this parasha, chapter 25, verse 10, it says that the Pinchas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aharon Kohen Gadol, has turned my anger from the children of Israel. Me'al Bnei Israel. Me'al Bnei Israel. Rabbi Naftali explains the first letter of these three words as Mem Bet Yud. Me'al Bnei Israel. Mem Bet Yud. And Rabbi Naftali explains that Mem Bet Yud is the number 70 of the 72 names of God. And that name, this Shabbat, awakens. That name, this Shabbat, becomes to the highest level of its manifestation into the whole world. What is Mem Bet Yud brings to this world? Yud is Chokhmah, is life, is the power of Pinchas. We know the name Pinchas gets the addition of small Yud this parasha. That Yud is a power of immortality, is a power of life. When they say this Shabbat is about healing, that means we receive an extra Yud, an extra life. Bet represents children, family, relationship. If God forbid, for whatever reason, we have difficulties with having children, with our own children, with our families, with our relationships, if there is any darkness hovers over our relationship with our family, with our friends, any form of relationship, this Shabbat, the bet of the Yud Bet Mem, awakens the love, the light that brings about shalom into our relationship. And the mem, Rabbi Naftali explains, that is about sustenance, barakah, financial security, economy. So for whatever reason, during the last year, there was some klipa, some darkness around us, around the world, around the whole globe, that hovered, and caused not to rain to come at the right time, not the blessing comes at the right time, at the right moment, in the right shape. This Shabbat awakens the life of sustenance. So this Shabbat, just like the Kabbalists explained, they promise. And it always happens that this Shabbat is among the 3 weeks which are considered to be the most negative weeks. The 3 weeks that started with the 17th of Tammuz, and it goes until the 9th of Av. As I explained last Shabbat, what happens during these 3 weeks is the Shekhinah conceals herself, takes its lights away, takes its protection away. And when the Shekhinah takes its lights away, the light of Pinchas, the light of Eliyahu and Navi takes over and brings light to the whole world. Amen. Ezrat Hashem, with the zechut of this Shabbat, with the zechut of this parasha, with the zechut of this brand new Sefer Torah, we're going to bring shalom, sustenance, health, prosperity, not only for ourselves, but for the whole world.